Calling this meeting to order. It is exactly 12 o'clock and we have roll call, please.
Espiochoa, present.
Alex Santos, present.
Hernandez,
Alda
Nereida Cantu, present.
Benavides present.
And I believe Mr. Garcia is there as well. So Dr. Science, I do declare a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Salinas. Before we begin our meeting, I would like for us to have a moment of silence for our employee Heraclio Paco Garcia, who was a groundskeeper at Howling Trails Golf Course. Mr. Garcia passed away this past Sunday. Mr. Garcia had worked at our golf course for 28 years, and he had been an employee of La Jolla ISD for 7 years. Also, we're very saddened by the loss of Humberto Ramirez. Humberto Ramirez was an employee at Gonzales Elementary. He currently worked as an instructional assistant in a self-contained special education classroom. Mr. Humberto Ramirez served our district for 31 years. I would like to express our deep condolences to their families. They will be greatly missed at La Jolla ISD. So if we could please have a moment of silence for them. Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you,
now let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Doc. Do we have any public comments?
We have no public comments.
Okay, moving on to the next item, tax collector report. Can I attain a motion?
so move.
I have a motion.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Next up be the approval of minutes. If I can attain a motions, items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
So move.
I have a motion, and I'll take Mr. Was it you, Mrs. Ochoa?
Yes.
I'll take your second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Over to you, Dr. Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Salinas. The first item on the superintendent's report is the enrollment report as of January 5th, 2021. On that day, we had 12,125 elementary students, 14,533 secondary students, for a total of 26,658 students, which is a number 722 students less than at this time last year. The next item on the superintendent's report is, yes, Dr. Benavides.
Before we move to the next item, I just wanted to know if you guys have checked anything with Benson, Diaz Villarreal, Gonzalez, and Mendiola, because in seeing the report for elementary that there's 879 less students in elementary at this time from last year. And I noticed that those are the schools that have lost the most students. So just a recommendation that maybe you get together with those school principals and see what's going on at those schools, because they seem to have lost more than 50 students, each one of those.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Benavides. We have been working with our principals as we review the counts. And as a matter of fact, we did meet, student services met last week with principals that had the highest difference in enrollment to review recruitment and retention strategies with them. So they met with those as a group, and this week they are meeting with them individually to continue to have those conversations with principals. We have given the principals, for example, a list of students that did not return, that were enrolled last year and did not return. And this has been from the beginning of the year, but just to explain that that's one of the strategies, among other strategies that we are reviewing with those principals. So thank you.
That's good because I know once we lose them in elementary, they usually don't come back. If you lose them in
Yes.
high school, they come back because they convince the parents, but not in elementary. So I was just wondering about those schools. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. The next item on the superintendent's report is recognition of Palmview High School cross-country regional and state qualifiers. And Mr. Victor Garza, our athletic director, will do that recognition.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. President, Madam Superintendent, staff, administration, and community listening in. It gives us great honor and pleasure here to introduce and to present to us, despite our circumstances that we find ourselves in, despite all of that, there's plenty positives. And with that, we have hard work, dedication, commitment present and exemplified. I find myself at the, you see my background there, at the hallways of Palmview High School, Lobo Nation, great pride up here. So today I want to present to you a junior at Palmview High School. Her name is Destiny Quintanilla. She's there. She is with us. She is a two-time district champion, two-time regional qualifier, and two-time state qualifier. And we're excited at the fact that she will be coming back to us. And we want to honor her, presenting her to our board, to our administration, and to our community. Destiny. Also, yes, also joining us, they will be getting a certificate and they will be getting a plaque so that we know. Okay. Also joining us is senior boys cross country. Well, let me revert real quick. Joining us is their coach or their assistant coach, Coach Daniel Malacara. We thank him for his hard work and dedication. Head coach Claudia Basan finds herself getting some treatments, and we wish her the best and always keeping her in our prayers as we continue to move forward with our condition. So Coach Malacara, thank you for your hard work and dedication to the program along with our student athletes. So also is senior on the boys cross country, senior Gabriel Garza. Gabriel also considered, he was the first team all district, second team all district, and a two-time regional qualifier. So with that, we do have Coach Jorge Cantu also joining us online. Thank you, Coach Cantu, and thank you, Gabriel, for your hard work and dedication and commitment. I've always said it to these people, you got to be a little bit crazy to run as fast as you can for as long as you can. And that just, it takes a special people, and these people do an excellent job. We thank you on behalf of La Jolla ISD, and we present those two individuals.
Thank you, Destiny. We're proud of you, and we're proud of you, Gabriel.
There's Gabriel in the bottom.
Athletes, good job.
Congratulations to our athletes and of course to their parents. Congratulations. And parents, we thank you for supporting La Jolla ISD and your students.
Congratulations to Lobo Nation and all your accomplishments. And thank you, Coach Garza, for all you do, and to all the coaches there at Palmview. Thank you so much.
Our next item is recognition of Palmview High School head volleyball coach.
Yes, again, we're still find ourselves at Lobo Nation, and also with me, I'm in his office. Coach Magda Kenneth is here, our athletic coordinator. You can see his hand. We're trying to keep social distance here. So, but it gives us great honor to present one of our own that has come up the ranks, that has given us, has bled red all her life, and has given everything left it on the court, and has exemplified that when opportunities are given, opportunities will be taken advantage of. And I believe, I'm not sure if both of our superintendent and our assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction were her principals, but I know that they're super proud. We have Ms. Margot Cantu Iglesias, who got honored. First of all, she did an excellent job with our volleyball team. after the inception of our split here at La Jolla ISD, we had not been in the playoffs. It had been a drought for a while, but through her dedication, commitment, and perseverance, that she said, we will win. We're gonna win, and we expect to win. So what a special time during this pandemic to exemplify that. We thank administration, we thank our Board of Trustees for the support and the commitment that was instilled to provide a safe environment, testing our athletes, and assuring that they would be given that opportunity to showcase their talents. With that in mind, Coach Margot was honored by the Monitor to be the Rio Grande Valley's All-Area Volleyball Coach of the Year for 2020. So I present to you, Board of Trustees, Madam Superintendent, Administration, and Staff and Community, Coach Margot Iglesias. We're super proud of you for what you have done and what you will continue to do.
Thank you so much. It was a really great honor. It's the kids. I mean, these students are so dedicated. Since I got there 4 years ago, it was instilled in them that we were going to make playoffs every single season. I told them, we're going to do it, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And this group that I had was just very special. They were in it since day one. As soon as they found out that we were, we got to go to play, it was just all business. We knew we had to reach our goal, and this was going to be the year. And it was just a special group, the coaches, the parents, administration, everybody, that backed us up. I mean, it's been, a struggle for 4 years, but, they reached their goal. And to the seniors and to the girls and to everybody, this was the best year that we've ever had. And, I congratulate all of them. When they called me with that honor, it was just the icing on the cake, because for me, as long as the kids get recognition and, I just wanted everything for them. So when they called me for that, it was really appreciated, because we have worked very, very hard. But like I said, I thank everybody, my husband, my family, everybody that has always believed in us, the athletic department, the school board members, everybody. But thank you so much. It's just super big honor and super blessed. And of course, to number one, God.
I'd like to take this time to congratulate Coach Cantu. I know that I had the honor and pleasure to work with you side by side, and I could not have anybody better to receive this award. We know how hard you work and your determination, and we congratulate you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Coach Iglesias. I know I worked with you firsthand too. I got to see your passion and your dedication, not just to the sport, but to your athletes. So thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and like I said, it was just these kids. I mean, they're a group of amazing athletes, and they're truly going to be missed. And the returners and everybody coming back, they know the expectation. These seniors set the bar high, so that's the expectation every year.
Congratulations again, and go Lobos.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the superintendent's report is recognition of trustees in honor of School Board Member Recognition Month. For this award, I'd like to say that January is Board Recognition Month, and at La Jolla ISD, our board is navigating our district to success. We're very grateful to have an amazing school board members that ensure high quality learning for all of our students. And as we look at this video, I would like to talk about some of the accomplishments for this year. La Jolla ISD has earned an A rating in the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. Our board has approved over $8 million in technology purchases to ensure that we have a successful virtual learning environment for all of our students. So thank you, Board of Trustees, for doing that. Also, during the pandemic, our board has made student and staff safety a priority. Our board approved purchases for personal protective equipment, spending over $900,000 for equipment such as face shields for students and staff, disposable face masks for students and staff, sneeze guards, disinfecting sprayers, handheld thermometers, contactless thermometers, air purifiers, and disinfecting mists. We're proud that at La Jolla ISD, our board supports many programs for students. We are a Best Communities for Music Education for the 3rd year in a row. Thelma R. Salinas and Jimmy Carter Early College High School have been named among the best high schools in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. At Jimmy Carter Early College High School, our board approved the Jimmy Carter Achievement Readiness Empowerment Academy. This program will ensure that special needs students are given exceptional opportunities to achieve their highest level of independence as they are integrated into the community. Our board approved soccer leagues for all our elementary schools. Every elementary school will have a boys and girls soccer team. In addition, we had 6 additional elementary school designations for a total of 27 elementary schools with designations. Because we know that at La Jolla ISD, our students learn better when they're healthy. Because of the physical education programs and health programs that our board has approved, 100% of our campuses were named Healthier Generations, Healthy Schools in America. This summer and fall semester, our board supported extensive training in virtual teaching and learning for our teachers to prepare them for online instruction. Because we know that remote learning has increased the need for social and emotional support, our board recently approved 3 new licensed professional counselors to provide these services for students. Our virtual counseling program continues to provide students support as they do their remote learning. And we have also implemented a 6th grade mentoring program where all classes at 6th grade have a mentor that meets with students every 2 weeks while they are in school. We're very proud to have our Region 1 Regional Elementary Teacher of the Year, Ms. Carlina Capello Pichardo from Cavazos Elementary, was named the Regional Employee Teacher of the Year. La Jolla is one of only a few districts that applied and received the teacher incentive allotment. Through this program, we have 73 teachers that were designated as recognized exemplary or master level teachers and received additional pay based on this designation. So we're very proud of these 73 teachers. Also, 100% of our teachers are certified, and we have 9 Project RISE teachers that have completed a master's program. So congratulations to our teachers. We're very proud of them. And thank you, board, for this support. To keep our employees safe during COVID-19, our district has implemented an employee testing program that is offered at the sites free of charge. We have also built athletic practice fields for Palmview High School and Juarez Lincoln High School. These were approved by a board. Palmview High School is complete and Juarez Lincoln is nearing completion. Our solar panels are operating and working to conserve energy and save money at La Jolla ISD. So another project approved by our Board of Trustees. With the approval of our Board of Trustees, all our campuses are equipped with many safety measures to protect our students and our employees, including electromagnetic disinfectors, hand sanitizing stations, safety COVID-19 signage, sneeze guards at all student desks, and plexiglass shields for all our office. School board service is one of the toughest volunteer programs that a community member can be involved in. So we want to thank our Board of Trustees for your commitment. Because of your commitment, our students are shining bright at La Jolla ISD. Thank you, Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Dr. Science.
And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you so much. Okay, moving on, guys. Next one be discussion items. Item number 1, discussion of House Bill 3, annual goals.
This presentation will be done by Dr. Magda Villarreal, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction.
Thank you, Dr. Science. Good afternoon. The House Bill 3 requires for our Board of Trustees to adopt and approve goals in the areas of early childhood literacy, math literacy, and also the college, career, and military readiness. So therefore, this afternoon, that's what I'm going to go ahead and review with you all. That way we could go ahead, and if you have any questions, you can go ahead and post them after the presentation, right? So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Early Childhood Literacy Board Outcome Goals. For our 3rd grade students that score meet or above on STAR reading, we will increase from a 49% to a 66%. As you can see right here on our yearly target goals, for last year, we were at a 54%. That was the goal. And now we're going to go ahead in the next 4 years, increase it to a 66% for 2020-24. Okay. Now, one of the things that I do want to point out is on closing the gap student groups yearly target, we need to go ahead and have these targets as well for the different subgroups. That way we could go ahead and be monitoring that. That is a requirement out of House Bill 3. I want to draw your attention to this section right here in the yellow box. These are actually the standards that have been set forth for all the districts and all the students in the state of Texas when it comes to the accountability system, domain 3. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide, which here, looking at our progress measure for early childhood literacy, we have the percent of the uppercase and lowercase letter knowledge for pre-K students on the circle, which will increase from a 65%, which that being our baseline, to an 84% by June 2024. Now here for 2020, we had a 68%. The goal was a 68%. And again, it will increase to an 84% on 2024. Moving on here with the Early Childhood Literacy Progress Measure 2, we're looking at our pre-K, our through 2nd grade students that score on grade level or above in the reading comprehension. And here our goal is to increase from an 81% to a 91% by the end of June 2024. And on the Early Childhood Literacy Progress Measure, for this one right here, it's what basically is what I reviewed in the previous slide, okay, or page. I'm going to go ahead and move on to now the Early Childhood Math Board Outcome Goals. And here we're looking at our 3rd grade students that score meet or above grade level in the STAR Math. They'll increase from a 50% to a 66% by June of 2024. And that's what you see depicted here under the yearly target goals, okay? And again, we do need to include our different subgroups and the goals for them. Let me give you an example right here in special ed, former special ed. The goal for 2020 was 54. And then for 2024, it's at a 66%. Reason it was set at a 54% is because previously we were at a 52%. And keep in mind, these are kids, scoring at that meets or above level, okay? I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next page here. And here now we're going to be looking at the math progress measures, okay? So for 1st grade students that score on grade level or above that 70% in math, utilizing math, parallelized math, will increase from a 78 to a 86% by 2024. And that's what you see depicted as well here in the yearly targets. For progress measure 2, now we're talking about our 2nd grade students. And here we're saying that we're going to use our sharing wealth assessment, and we'll have an increase from a 68% to a 78% by June of 2024. And this progress measure 3 is basically coming from our third graders, and also I had just shared it previously. I'm going to go ahead and now move on to our CCMR board outcome goals measures here. And here we're basically stating that that the percent of graduates that meet the criteria for CCMR will increase from that 84% to a 94%, okay? You also see the yearly targets measures here, and also the closing the gap student group yearly targets as well. And again, this table right here is basically the standards that have been set forth for us to be able to meet. If we look at special ed, you know, we were at, or the goal was at a 58, and it will go all the way to a 68%. But if you look at the standard here for special ed, right, it's actually at a 27. So our goal is way above, but again, these are based on how we've been doing previously, right? Let's go ahead and move on to the next slide here. What you're going to be able to see is the different progress measures. Progress measure 1, basically here we're saying that the percent of CCMR students that meet the threshold for CCMR outcome bonus for college ready will increase from 41.3% to 55% by 2024. One of the things that I do want to let you all know is the way the data is being reported is using a raw score. Okay, a raw score versus a scale score. So technically that this 41 is at a 91%, okay? Going over to progress measure 2, here we're focusing now on the career ready, which will increase from a 52% to a 65% by August of 2024. Okay? And then we do have the progress measure 3, which is basically what this one is on the military readiness. And here we have a decrease, you'll see a decrease, not an increase, of 6.5% to 5% by August 2024. And the reason behind this is because there was a change in our state accountability definition of intent. Now we're moving from intent to enlist to actual enlistment in the military, okay? Basically, this is what I have for you all, because on progress measure 2 and 3, what you'll see here is basically just a repetition of what I've just reported to you all. Any questions or concerns that you all might have?
Yes, Dr. Villarreal, I was writing notes as you were speaking, keeping in mind that we do have high expectations for our students, and you being saying, referring to the yellow part at the bottom, how the state has set reasonable goals. Are we as a district being realistic as we set these goals, not making excuses? And again, we do have high expectations for our students, but knowing the factors that lay before us, are we really setting ourselves to fail by having these high percentages based on everything that we're encountering right now, and knowing that true data right now is just basically what's being turned in because dynamics are not true?
We did have that conversation, Ms. Ochoa, about, you know, our COVID slide in the area of math and reading. And what really, truly what we're seeing right now is the slide more so in the area of math, just like it was predicted. But as we conversed about it, we did decide that we need to go ahead and continue keeping these rigorous goals, and always aiming to try to achieve them, right? And keeping in mind, though, the COVID slide in the reading and in the math.
When you say we, Dr. Villarreal, who was in the discussions?
Mm-hmm. One of the things that we do is we work collaboratively with all our principals. However, I cannot tell you that they were involved. We had a whole meeting to go ahead and discuss the goals in itself. But myself and the executive directors and Dr. Science, we go ahead and meet and have this conversation about setting these goals, then these goals are then discussed as well with our principals, but more so in a smaller setting. And then to talk about how they're feeling about these goals and are they attainable and so forth. And then we also share them at a principals meeting to go ahead and get feedback as well. So I can't tell you that this year we had a principals meeting with all levels, but they were, we did meet with them by level, with our executive directors to discuss this.
Did they have input or did you all just share the goals with them?
Well, every campus had to set their own goals. So principals did set goals with their teachers. And then based on that, we have the district goals. Because these have to be done at the campus level and the district level.
But the district goals, did you all set the goals or did you have the principals help you set the goals?
We set the goals based on the principals' goals for their campuses.
So you all set them?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that we have high expectations on all students, but this is something that I've always communicated in the past and even more about setting realistic goals just based on all the factors that's around us right now.
Yeah. One of the biggest factors.
We're working tirelessly and religiously,
One of the biggest factors that we looked on, of course, in determining the goals is the performance where we were at in 2019. And so as Dr. Villarreal stated, we did look at that and that's how we set the goals. But we did look at where have our kids been? And even though, yes, we did consider COVID slide, we did talk about we need to do everything that we can when either our kids are back in the classroom or even now to make sure that we prevent them from losing the skills that they have.
That's a good point, Dr. Saenz, because it has been said that the average child right now in this time will have lost 5 to 6 months. And so if you took the results from 2019 and then the fact that they've lost this and then set goals that are, from 2019, then I think the point that Ms. Ochoa is trying to make, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, SB, is the fact that you don't want additional pressure on the teachers, because right now the ones that are really, or the ones at the end of the day that are going to have the pressure are going to be the teachers that are going to have to get the kids at the level that they need to get them. And so that's the reason for really being very realistic of where we are, because in 2019 we were there with nothing interfering, and now it's a very different situation.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Benavides. Thank you, Ms. Ochoa.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Moving on to the next one, item number 2, discussion on the 2020 results-driven accountability district report.
Go ahead and share my screen again. Let me just open up the document. Good afternoon, everyone. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk to you all about the results-driven accountability. Let me just go ahead and give you a little background when it comes to what it is. Basically, it's a framework developed and implemented annually by the Department of Review and Support, and also in coordination with the Texas Education Agency. One of the things that I do want to point out here before I even start is that we have the different indicators. There was a restructuring when it came to the framework in itself. And now what we're looking at is that things are being put under domain 1, which is academic achievement, domain 2, post-secondary readiness, and domain 3, disproportionate analysis. So those are the things that that the data is going to fall under. Okay. One of the other things that I do want to go ahead and point out is there was a change as well, where CTE and also migrant and Title I Part A are not included in this report. And just because one of the changes the reason that occurred was because they do not want to have duplicate activities. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and start with the actual data that was reported for our district. So here we have one of the things that you're going to see a lot of the no data or report only. And the reason behind that is because of the state accountability waiver that was issued last year, and we did not take the STAR assessment. So that's why in many of these indicators, you're going to see that there's no data or report only. And also, before I even delve into it, one of the things that I do want to point out is that for the STAR performance data, that's coming directly from the 2019-2020. But for graduation, dropout, ISS, OSS discipline, that's coming from the 2018-2019, since it is considered a lagging data. Okay. So here, I'm going to go ahead and get started with bilingual ESL and under domain 1. So what you're going to see here is the different indicators, which you have bilingual STAR, 3rd through 8th grade passing rate. And I do want to point out this right here, which is our cut points. So in the area of math, the cut point is from 70 to 100 in order to be at that performance level of a 0, right? So 0 is actually where we want to be as a district, okay? And then you'll see that we have a performance level 1, 2, and 3. And obviously the 3 is where we do not want to be as a district. I just wanted to point that out. So I'm going to go ahead and now move on. As you can see, for indicator 1, no data reported. 2, for the ESL STAR, 3rd through 8th grade passing rate, no data. For ELs not served in bilingual, also no data. And for dyslexia, in here, also no data. It was only report only. Okay. We are going to go ahead and move on to indicator 5 here. And here, again, no data reported. Number 6 as well. But number 7, I'm going to stop right here because one of the options that we had as a district was to go ahead and submit our TELPAS, information to be scored. And here we do receive some information, even though it's saying report only, we're able to see a rate of a 8.9 compared to the state at a 9.4, meaning that we are lower than the state, okay? And this particular indicator is looking at the amount of kids at the beginning level in TELPAS, okay? I'm going to go ahead and move on now to actually indicator 9 and 10, where we do have some data. Here we have performance level of a 2 because of the 69.4 rate, okay? And then under EL annual dropout rate, we are at a performance level 1. I'm going to move on to other, and this is a dyslexia as well, it's report only. So now I'm going to move on to other special population. And what I do want to state here is that this particular one focuses on foster care, homeless, and military, okay? And again, we're not going to have no data for anything dealing with the content per se, okay? So here under number 2, dyslexia part 3 through 8th grade reading passing rate, again, report only. And I am going to go ahead and move on to the actual graduation rate. That way you could see. Here under the OSP graduation rate, we are at a performance level 0. So our kiddos here we have 58 kids, graduates, right, that actually graduated out of a class of 68 based on the foster care, homeless, and military. But if we go into the annual dropout rate, here we are at performance level level 2 with a rate of 3.8. Okay. We're going to move on now to actually special ed. Under special ed, domain 1, again, because we're looking at the STAR data, we don't have any data that was reported, okay? Number 2 as well for dyslexia for special ed, performance level. If we move on to special ed year after exit, again, no data reported because we're looking at the STAR assessment results, right? If we move on to number 4, EOC passing rate, no data reported as well, and alternate 2, no data reported. and it's only report only for this past year. Okay. We're going to move on to domain 2. Under domain 2, we're looking now at the graduation rate, right? And here we have a performance level of a 1 with a 75.8. Okay. The threshold being at 80 to 100 to be at the performance level 0. Now, looking at special ed annual dropout rate, again at a level 1. I am going to go and stop right here on number 9. Special ed regular early childhood program, we're at a performance level of a 2 with a rate of 11.8. Basically, these are our babies, right? We're looking at our babies that are being serviced through a regular ed class in early childhood program. Now, on number 10, one of the things that I do want to point out here is this one measures the percent of students 6 through 21 that are served in special ed in regular classes 80% or more of the time, and we're at performance level 1 as well. Okay. Number 11 here measures the percent of students ages 6 through 21 as well in special ed, but now we're looking at less than 40% of the day in the regular classes, and this one is at a performance level level 3. So this is one that we need to continue working on. And then moving on to number 15, on this one right here, this is one that measures the percent of students 3 years to 21 in special ed reported as suspended, out of school, or expelled. And this one right here, I do want to draw your attention because when we're looking at our Hispanic population, which is basically everybody, right? We have not met the threshold for 3 years in a row, excuse me. So you have the 2018, 19, and 2020 here as far as our risk ratio. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to number 17 and 18. And here I do want to draw your attention to number 18, the special ed total disciplinary removal rates, which is at a level 3 with a 52.3 rate. Okay. I do want to state that due to the OSS and ISS expulsion and suspensions, we do have an audit that's coming about in February. And I do want to let you all know that in preparation of that audit, we've already started meeting with teachers, also with principals have been informed, and also directors in preparation for that. We have been told that we need to upload 18 student records, and out of those 18, they're going to select 3. That way they could go ahead and shadow. That's going to be done virtually. Mm-hmm. So again, because of that OSS ISS expulsion rate, we will be audited in February. Questions that you all might have in regards to RDA, results-driven accountability.
I have no questions. Any questions, guys?
No, I just had the question of when we were going to have that audit, but she already answered it. So thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Garia.
Thank you.
And moving on to the next item, item number 3, discussion on the Texas Virtual School Network online program.
Stop sharing this one, and I'm going to open up the next one. Okay. Can you all see the PowerPoint?
Not yet, Dr. Villarreal.
Okay. So here you go.
Yes, we can see it now. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So now I'll be presenting on the Texas School Virtual Network. And I do want to let you all know, let me go to the next slide, that the Texas School Virtual Network is composed of 2 different components, right? It's composed of the statewide course catalog, and it also is composed of this full-time virtual school program, right? And I do want to say that we base ours on the statewide course catalog supplemental courses, okay? Also, one of the things that I do want to let you know is that this program serves kids in 8th through 12th grade. And it is ADA funded if the students complete the course successfully, excuse me. And we do have over 450 districts and charter schools that are participating in this particular program. Okay. Now, La Jolla ISD has been a member since 2009, and then the average number of students that have participated in the summer have been 8, with a total of 15 semester hours. We did increase last year in the summer to 27 kids with 50 semester hours. So we did have an increase due to the instructional setting. Additionally, one of the things that I also want to say is that as a district, we normally hire 3 teachers, 1 per high school. And this is done to be able to support our students throughout while they're taking these courses, because we want them to have a successful experience. We do have the list of the most commonly courses that are being requested by our students. And you have it here, for example, communication, government, and United States history. Questions that you all might have as far as the Texas School Virtual Network?
I do have questions. Do we have the agreement for this year in place to participate and to be participate in the virtual school network?
Yes, ma'am. It was approved, I believe, sometime in, I want to say November, Dr. Benavides, if I'm not mistaken.
And then the other question is, how many teachers do we have certified? Because I know there's certain required training for them to be able to give the kids the credit. So how many teachers do we have certified to give this credit?
I don't have that information with me, but I'll go ahead and look into it and relay it back to you, Dr. Benavides. And you're right, they need to get certified. There is a program that they need to go ahead and do. And once that occurs, then they're able to serve our students. But I'll go ahead and give you that information later on, or everyone, that way you all can have it.
Okay, and you already brought up the other point that I have, but it's another way for us to get if the kids complete the course. And it's a perfect opportunity right now because we have students that that want to get ahead, and this is an opportunity for them to get ahead. And I'd also like to share that the way this was born in 2009 was a baseball player that didn't have time in his schedule to get everything in. And that's how we decided that we would find a way for him to be able to play baseball and participate in other extracurricular activities, plus at the same time take the courses that he wanted to. And so that was the idea then. But right now that kids are doing everything virtually, I think it's even more important because there are some kids that do want to get ahead. And the fact that it starts in 8th grade, there's a lot of students that if given the opportunity, they want to be able to take some courses in the 8th grade on their own spare time that they won't have to take in high school. But I was just curious about the agreement, if that had been done and if we were participating this year. And then, of course, the number of teachers, because I know Mr. Aguilera at Salinas is one of the certified teachers, but I know we had like 7, and I don't know if we have any others we have, and if we've kept up with training the teachers so that they're able to give the kids the credit for the courses. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Benavides. One of the other things I do want to provide to you all as far as just information is that normally the provider can charge $400 for these courses, right? What the district does is we charge anything from $250 to $300. Well, that's normally the range, right? But we pay half of that cost in itself. Okay, I'm not sure if everybody was aware of that.
It's money well invested because the kids are able to take the courses. And my last question is who oversees the project? Who's in charge of it this year?
We have Roel Hernandez that is overseeing this particular project. Dr. Benavides.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Herrera.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, item number 4, discussion update on the La Jolla ISD internet infrastructure.
Yes. Let me go ahead and open up that PowerPoint and share it with you all. So good afternoon. Now I'll be sharing with you all an update of the additional support provided to our students that had no connectivity that were identified, right? I do want to say that in collaboration with our transportation department, we increased the number of Wi-Fi buses from 50 to 98. Additionally, we did add an additional 4 buses to the Sullivan area, increasing it to 10. In Los Ebanos area, we added 2, giving us a total of 3 out in the community. And in the Cuevitas area, we added 2 buses with an overall total of 15 buses out there in the Sullivan area amongst those 3 different areas. I also want to note that the other buses, right, were distributed across the district to be able to provide that necessary support for our students. What you see here is basically what I want to point out is that every student in our district has an electronic device, and we have issued out hotspots as needed. However, we do have 78 out of the 1,463 students that even though we provide them a hotspot, the device, they're still not able to connect because of the area where they currently live. So for these particular students, what we've provided for them is an option to come on campus. And again, that is a parent choice. So some of these students are not, these are coming on campus for instruction. So one of the things that we've opted to do is that a paper packet and us staying connected with our students and our parents via the phone or visits. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and transition now to just providing you all in dialoguing with our principals, what else do you need? How else can we support? And this is basically our findings. Here in the Sullivan area, in La Jolla High School, we have the campus had enough devices and hotspots. We provided over 300 additional Chromebooks in case they get any new students, they're well equipped. However, we still have 25 out of the 285 students that were identified that do not have connectivity, okay? If we look at Delma Salinas, for example, we provided additional 75 T-Mobile hotspots and also 75 additional Chromebooks as reserve, but we do have 8 out of 39 that do not have connectivity. Okay. I'm gonna move on to the next slide here. Now you have the other campuses listed here and how many kids do not have connectivity. Let me draw your attention to West Academy. Here, they had enough devices and hotspots. We gave them an additional 50 Chromebooks, but we still have those 20 students that do not have that connectivity, being able to connect. And next here, what you see is the rest of the campuses in talking to our principals, they have enough hotspots, devices, and so forth, and all our students are able to connect. So I'm going to give you some time there to peruse through this particular slide.
Dr. Villarreal, for those that do not have connectivity that you've listed on the previous slide, are they reporting to campus for those students?
We do have some, Dr. Cantu, but we still have several that are not reporting to campus. Therefore, we're having to, really just utilize our instructional packets that we've provided to them, and teachers making that a connection via phone or even, those visits that we need to go ahead and be conducting if and when needed, right? And again, we really think about the visits because we want to make sure that we safeguard everybody, including our students, our teachers. But when it comes to the instruction, Those are the two options that we've provided at this point in time, because we do have several students that are not coming in for on-campus instruction, even after we've offered it. Mhm.
And that
So
was
we're making sure that they have the packets and they're working it at home.
Correct. And keep in mind that in order for us to be able to, account for them as far as being engaged for attendance purposes and instructional purposes, we need to go ahead and be collecting some of that work. So we do have drop-off boxes at every campus where students can go ahead and parents can drop off the work. And also transportation is also helping us by picking up some of those packets if parents cannot be coming in. They can't come in to drop them off.
And that was the whole idea, just to stay on target with those kids that don't have connectivity, because in 8 weeks, it'll be a year that these kids have not had connectivity. And so I just have a responsibility to those kids. So apologize if I keep asking, but I'm going to stay on it when it comes to those kids that don't have connectivity, and just making sure that they are getting the instruction that they need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do have a couple of more slides, because I do want to give you an update on our cell towers. And on the left, what you have is the information provided during the December 9th board meeting. And on the right now, here I have the actual update. So for Zone 1, Tower 1, it was installed in the Los Cebanos area by the ballpark, and it will connect all of the homes in that particular area. It is pending the mounting of equipment that will communicate to the main tower being Tower 2, the Sullivan City WIC. And all equipment there, like I mentioned last time, has been installed, but once activated, it will communicate to the rest of the district towers. I do want to let you know that yesterday our IT department and the Hidalgo IT department were working collaboratively to turn on some of the radios that really communicate and provide that Wi-Fi connectivity. So we were working on that just yesterday. So this main tower should be up and running very, very, very soon. Okay. Now looking at Zone 2, Tower 3, this tower was not installed. However, we are using the Awasat water tower by Dr. Science Middle School to install the communication equipment on it. Also, contractors met back on January 7th to discuss the infrastructure and how to proceed. This tower will be used as a relay tower from the other towers to this one in particular, and then also to the main tower in Sullivan City. Do know that we do have 140 radios that are being installed on power poles around the community as well in this particular area. In Zone 3, we have Tower 4. So here, what they've been working on is installing 80 telephone poles and throughout this community, and we do each pole costs $3,500 at no cost to our district. And these poles are needed to, we need to install these poles because basically that's where the radios are gonna, be put on. And basically in this area, we're having to build the infrastructure, not us, but Hidalgo County, okay? On Zone 4, this is the tower that I had told you last time that we were pending whether they were gonna install it or not. Well, they're not gonna install it after all, but we are moving it at all. So there's no tower here. And that's unfortunate, but we'll work with Hidalgo County with the rest of the towers, because on Zone 5, we have Tower 6. And here, the radios have been installed already. Connectivity pending the completion of the communication equipment installed in the Awasat Tower, which serves as that relay tower to the Sullivan Tower, which is the main one over by the WIC. And I just noted here that Hidalgo County is working closely with AEP and Magic Valley to add those that power to the poles needed for the radios. And then once completed, those radios serve as a mesh network, in the selected communities. Also, as radios and communication equipment have been installed, what they've had to do is a lot of remediation, fixing, installing a new pole and so forth. That's why there's that delay there in the installation. questions that you all might have.
Once the towers are installed and all that is completed, other than Zapata, I mean, that's pending. Will you still need the buses out there, or will it take care of that?
So we've discussed that, Dr. Benavides, and what we've said is once they're up and running, we'll still keep the buses out there for, several weeks until we ensure that everybody has that connectivity. And after that, we'll go ahead and review our decision and decide whether we keep them out or not. So as of right now, we're still pending on that.
Yeah, which just means that we'll need to go around checking different points to see if now there's connectivity, because they might not need hotspots either.
But the intent is to take care of that.
Yes, yeah, those towers, with those towers, we will not need the Wi-Fi buses and even, hotspots.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Villarreal.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you, Dr. Villarreal.
Moving on to the next item, item number 5, discussion of enrolling agent of record for district health insurance plan and voluntary health products, services, and related costs.
Mr. Joel Trevino, our Assistant Superintendent for Administration and Finance, will do this discussion item. Thank you, Mr. Trevino.
Mr. Trevino, you're muted, Mr. Trevino.
I'm sorry, I apologize for that. I started talking. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Today's presentation is a discussion on the enrolling agent of record for district health insurance plan and voluntary health products for services and related costs. As you know, the board authorized administration to negotiate with the highest ranked enrolling agent of records based on the proposals that were submitted on the January 6th board meeting. Based on these negotiations, the following are the results. Okay. Here is a comparison of the approximate yearly savings that the district will encounter by going with based on the negotiations. On our health insurance plan, previously we had a $2.35 per employee per month. We were able to negotiate a $2 per employee per month. That's an approximate yearly savings of about $17,417. On the aggregate stop loss, there's a previously we had a 15% commission rate. We were able to bring it down to 7.5% commission rate. That's an approximate savings of $3,245. And the specific stop loss, the previous rate was 15%. We brought it down to 7.5%. That gave us a yearly savings of approximately $109,794,000. One of the things that we incorporated into this negotiation was that the RX commission, previously we were paying $5 per script, and those payments were terminated back on October 15, 2019. And we negotiated that those were not going to be paid based on this new proposed and negotiated rate. So the total savings based on these is about $130,000 yearly savings.
Mr. Trevino, a question. But what would have been the savings that we would have saved on the $5 that's not going to be added here on the RX commission?
Yes, sir, and that's something that what we were paying at that time when prior to October 15, we were paying approximately $35,000 a month, which is approximately about $400,000, a little over $400,000 for the year.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like that number to be added there so that we can get that copy sent to each of the board members. I know that we're here because some of the board members, Dr. Benavides was one of them that had requested this, as well as other board members. So can you please add that and please send it?
Yes, sir, will do.
Yeah, exactly how much money was spent, because I knew it was close to about 500,000. So whatever the amount was, that's also going to be an additional savings to the district.
Okay, we'll do. We'll go ahead and update it and send it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Salinas, for pointing that out.
Thank you.
Okay, on the next slide, we have the services to the district and to the employees. we did a comparison of what we was provided before and now, what is going to be and who is it going to benefit. One of the enrolling agent will be conducting on-site and remote annual open enrollment for employees. Previous agent was doing that, as well as this agent, a new agent, and that is a benefit to the district and also to the employee. Okay. Also, the conducting ongoing enrollment for new district employees. Previous agent was doing it. This is a benefit for the district and also for the employee. This new will continue doing it. Support La Jolla is the employee benefits departments Monday through Friday. The previous employee was doing it, but from their home office. This new employee is going to also be doing it, and that is a benefit to the district. Okay. The contract term that we had previously was an 8-year term contract, and the new contract that we were able to negotiate and that we went out for request for qualifications was a 1-year, 7-month contract, and with an option to extend for an additional year.
And clarification on this one too, the termination clause is a 30-day notice. No, there's no liquidated damages provision in there or anything like that.
What was the previous in and out clause?
60-day notice, but we would have to pay around 60, approximately. I don't remember the exact number, but it was $60,000 a month for whatever.
For the length of the 8-year term?
Yes, sir.
And which can we get like a ballpark what that would add up to?
Don't have it with me right now, but we could probably get it for you, Mr.
It would have been approximately around $1 million, $800 to $1 million, 800,000 to $1 million. So on this contract, we were sensitive to that. So there's no such provision in there. And again, if we have to opt out for whatever reason, it's just a 30-day notice provision, no penalty to the district.
Good.
Next item, we have facilitate the district with local, state, and federal regulations and requirements. The previous agent was doing some of those, but the new agent will be coordinating all of those for us. And of course, that's a benefit to our district. Okay. This agent, both agents were acting as a liaison between La Jolla SD staff and insurance carriers. And of course, that's not only just a benefit for the district, but also for the employee. Okay. The next item is provide an on-site licensed agent full-time 4 days a week. This is something that was not provided with the previous agent. This new agent is going to provide a licensed agent on-site to help our employees. And that's a benefit to the district and also to the employees. Basically what they will be doing, they'll be doing the online enrollment for new employees, assisting with filing insurance claims, assist medical authorizations, and above all is the employees' accessibility to answer any of their questions especially when it comes to the voluntary products. Okay, this vendor will be providing a 1-800 number for employees. That's a benefit to our employees. And the next item is providing benefit booklets and related materials for employee reference. I mean, both agents, even the previous agent submitted without provide those, as well as the new agent will be providing them. The next item is assisting with benefit awareness initiatives, including but not limited to, health fairs, community walks, staff and committee meetings. All agents basically were providing that, and of course that's a good benefit for the district, so that we can provide all these services to our community. Okay. And that is the presentation. Are there any questions?
Mr. Trevino, on the voluntary products, as from January till the end of this school year, who are they're still being done by the previous agent, or how does that work?
Once the board approves, there's an agenda item to approve the negotiated agreement, we will notify each of the voluntary product companies that the board has assigned a new agent.
But they would still be accrued by the old agent, correct? The services would continue by the old agent till the end of the year?
No, sir. I got to speak with one of the companies, and they said that the new agent will be taking over.
Okay.
And
That's one company that I spoke with. I have made contact with the others. So.
And just to highlight some other provisions of the contract, we did include language in there that the agent, if approved in this agreement, they're not able to take any fees that we're not aware of, essentially. And if they do, it voids the contract, and then that they're required to have all licenses, and failure to maintain all required licenses would immediately render the contract void as well.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino, and thank you, Ben. Thank you so much. Any more questions, guys? All righty. Guess moving on to the next one, guys. Be under contracts. Can I attain a motion for a consent agenda?
So move.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor, guys?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Voting nay on item 5 on the bids.
Okay, note that, Blanca, please. Motion passes. Okay, moving on to letter C, business and finance. Requesting authorization to donate portable building to the city of Sullivan City.
So move.
I have a motion. Can I have a second?
A second.
I have a second, Mr. Garza. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
Can we look into, Coach, maybe look into other offering something similar to the other surrounding cities? I'm sure.
Okay, go. Yeah,
Something
well,
like that.
it's okay. Go ahead and then it's open, guys.
Thank you.
Dr. Science, I guess we're having some of the other cities, municipalities asking for some help.
All right, thank you. Well, I'll make a note of that.
Is there something in particular, Mr. Cantu, that you're looking at?
No, just portables. I know a lot of the cities need, storage and stuff like that, a portable, the same way we're doing in Sullivan. I mean, I think we can offer a portable to each city.
Okay. I guess if we can maybe do some contact, Doc, or send a letter, or maybe a representative to speak to the other cities and see if there's anything that the district can do. I know that for the city of Sullivan, there's an interlocal agreement that the district's been doing for at least, I think, back to 2016. They've been helping out with the park for the kids so that the kids can have the facilities available, since they don't have the machines and proper equipment to, lay out the baseball field. As long as it pertains to kids, I'm all for it. So if we can do that, Doc.
Yes,
If there's any other request by any other board member.
And the portable buildings, I think we've provided portable buildings to most of the other cities, if I'm not mistaken, if I recall correctly. The other cities have gotten portable buildings already.
But if there's any other services that we can, let's look into that, Dr. Science.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Anybody else? Anybody else has anything else to add, guys? Okay, moving on to the next one under letter C, business and finance, approval of the 2020 tax roll totals.
So move.
I have a motion
Second.
and I have a second. All those in favor? Indicated by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Under letter C, business and finance, number 3, action to approve resolution to change fiscal year. Can you say a little bit about that, Dr. Science, so that our board
Yes,
and
Thank you, Mr. Salinas. We're requesting to be able to change our fiscal year, which is currently from September 1st to August 31, to be able to change it from July 1st to June 30th. This would allow principals and department leaders to purchase resources and be ready for when teachers come in. It will also allow us to match the fiscal year with the academic year, which also is in reference to resources. So those are 2 of the advantages that we would have in changing the fiscal year.
okay. Thank you, Doc.
Thank
Any
you.
questions, guys? If there's no questions, can I obtain a motion?
Oh,
I have a motion
Second.
and I have a second. All those in favor indicating by saying aye.
aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Next up, guys, be number 4 under letter C, business and finance, action to approve amendments to the La Jolla ISD board policy CE local.
So move.
So move. Oh, second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to letter E, human resource. Item number 1, discussion and approval of the sports and learning complex stipend for the 2020-2021 school year.
Move.
I have a motion
Second.
Second.
and I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Under letter E, human resource number 2, discussion and approval of disinfection team stipend. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion
I'll second.
and I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Under letter E, human resources number 3, discussion and approval of the staff wellness center stipend for the 2020-2021 school year.
So
I'd like to
moved.
entertain a motion to approve item 3 and 4.
Okay, so going for 3 and 4. Can I have a second by you, Mr. Cantu?
Second.
Okay, second right there. So all those in favor for items 3 and 4?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right. Item number 5 under letter E, human resources, discussion and approval of college and career and life readiness coordinator. That's up to there right there. I have a motion.
So move.
I have a motion by Dr. Benavides.
Second.
And I have a second by Mr. Garza. All those in favor, guys? Again, by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Under letter E, human resource number 6, discussion and approval of executive director for assessment and accountability position. Number 6. I'll take a motion.
Yes.
I think somebody.
And here.
Can you elaborate, Dr. Science, a little bit on what's going on here?
Okay, do I have a motion before we continue, Mr. Cantu? I don't know.
I don't know.
We have no motion. Okay, it's open. Go ahead, Mr. Cantu.
I just want to, Dr. Science, to elaborate a little bit on this, well,
Yes.
actually it was 5 and 6, but we're already
Yes.
past 5.
Thank you, Mr. Cantu. We're asking for these positions so that we can be able to consider placing staff in these positions, especially in working with another item that's coming up for the resolution for the program change. So we would like to have these positions available if needed.
I don't have a problem supporting this. I just would really consider maybe having supporting document to know exactly what moves and who's being moved before approving, anything. I know that looking at the agenda, there are some positions there that, especially some departments that have been working tirelessly since this pandemic started. And I don't think right now it's a smart thing to do, especially since we're still in this pandemic. And I know the board has taken great pride for the employees, and I strongly feel that if we're gonna make a move, I think that one should have been first before all these positions would be. No, just my.
Dr. Science, did you just make a connection with the next item with this?
I'm just saying that we just want to have these positions available in case we need them as we consider staffing for next year.
Any more questions, guys? I do have an item open. I will need a motion and a second.
Second for items 5 and 6. I mean, 6
Okay.
and 7. 6 and 7.
Number 6. Okay, number 6. Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Item number 7 under letter E, human resources, discussion and approval of the executive director for student services position.
So move.
I have a motion
Second.
and I have a second. All those in favor? Again, by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Next item, number 8 under letter E, human resources, approval of resolution declaring program change.
Coach, can we discuss that item before we?
That's fine. It's open. It's open, Dr. Cantu. It's open.
Okay, well, I just had a question. I know that in reading the resolution, it does state that the school year has been challenging a result of the global pandemic. And I think that there's nobody that can argue with that. Having said that, I believe that at our front line, the district's front line have been very essential workers, including our superintendent, our assistant superintendents, and our crisis team, to name a few. I know there's a lot more. So it's difficult for me to understand, and maybe Dr. Science can explain. On section 4 of the resolution, it says this, the superintendent is recommending that the employment areas being affected are the positions of assistant for student services and for human resources. Section 5 goes on to say that upon passage of this resolution, the superintendent will add these duties to the remaining 3 assistant superintendents. So I just like an explanation. It's a little bit difficult for me to understand how every meeting, if not every other meeting, we're constantly praising for the tremendous job that our cabinet and our crisis team have done, and including our superintendent. So it's really, really difficult for me to understand how, if we are going to make these adjustments or program changes, that we are going to start with our frontline employees who have worked through weekends, through summers, through vacation. So it points out these two positions, and I just like clarification on why the recommendation is to affect these two positions. And at this time, I mean, it's kind of like for me saying a hospital declaring we're going to reduce staff and starting right now with their COVID nurses. So I really don't, I would need an explanation before I would vote on this.
And for me, you said it yourself, Dr. Cantu, student services. These are positions that are directly affecting our students. And for me, since we're still in the middle of a crisis, I think right now is not the time to do any changes, especially those that are that direct the impact of our students and are planning right now as we see the daylight in this pandemic, but we're still in the middle of a crisis. And for me, it's very hard to make those moves right now because we've taken great pride in investing in those that invest in our children. And I think these positions are key. And I find it hard to vote on this item myself.
Okay, so it is open for a motion, guys. It's either going to be a motion for approval or a motion to table, or I just make sure we. Okay,
Second.
Mr. Garza, okay. Did you make a motion, Mr. Garza?
Yes, sir.
And Dr. Science, I'm sorry, but Dr. Science can't clarify my questions. I just wanted to see how these two positions were decided on.
And that's fine, but I have a motion on the table by Mr. Garza. I need to know if this is going to go through or that. We can still discuss it. That's not a problem. Mr. Garza, you had a motion to approve?
You also had a second, Coach.
Okay, and the second was Dr. Benavides?
Yes.
That's correct, Coach.
Okay, so then I have a motion and a second. I have to take the vote. So all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and those opposed?
Hey,
I oppose.
Okay, so then we continue with the discussion. Motion passes, but Dr. Cantu, you have the floor.
No, I wanted to go back to the question that I asked. I wanted to know who decided on these two positions.
With this resolution through board policy, the superintendent is being asked to recommend a program change. Now, this program change is very broad in nature according to the resolution. It could mean anything from staffing of a department, school operation, consolidating of one or more schools. So it is a broad range of program changes that are covered under this resolution. And as it says, it is due to the negative impact that our enrollment has had and probably will have on our finances. So even though it is specific, those duties that are specifically mentioned would be assigned to other duties. But I do want to say that it is broad. It is not just regarding those. It is regarding any other program change that the district may need in the future, especially as we plan for 21-22 with more limited resources.
Can those people, I mean, Dr. Science, can we have a little bit more clarification where we're going with this so the people in these departments can know where they stand, or at least, what we're planning as a district?
Yeah, this resolution.
I do want to say, Dr. Science, that I want to commend you for moving forward with the resolution, only because the district continues to lose students and we're seeing it. And I know when we had 29,000 students, we had 3 assistant superintendents, and we were able to handle that. So I think maybe a reassurance to Mr. Cantu and Dr. Cantu that the work should continue. If anybody, if any duties are redistributed, the work continues. It's not like they're going to the duties are not going to be done. That's the way I understand it. So yes. I do want to commend you for starting the movement because it's long overdue. The district needs to look at that. And I think you need to look at it at every level. You need to look at it at the executive director level. You need to look at it at the director level. You need to look at it at every level, because pretty soon when IDEA opens, I know we're going to have to be looking at things and we're going to be making some tough decisions. And so commendations to you for starting this.
And just to clarify, my thing is why don't we start with positions that don't directly affect our students? You know what I understand? We're not moving into any special project. We're not moving into any of that. Why don't we just start looking in other areas where it doesn't affect the students directly? That's my concern.
Like Dr. Benavides stated, I don't think this affects anything that needs to be done as far as student services or any of the programs. I mean, the work is going to get done. We still have people that address whatever needs are brought to us by our staff or our students.
And I understand that. I do. I agree. I also agree with Dr. B and with all of you that there are changes that are going to occur. I just don't, in my opinion, and I don't see it correct I don't see that these are the areas of employment that should have been affected first. There are other areas. I mean, we didn't have an assistant superintendent for operations until I think that was the last one we added, and I'm just was wanting clarification onto how these two positions were the ones selected to be affected first.
I agree.
Just a note too, every employee is essential and is direct link to students' success.
I agree.
So
Definitely, I agree.
Every employee across the district.
I agree, SB, definitely.
That's why I'm voting no.
Yeah, the way I see it, we created this two positions back in 2016. Okay, I can understand that, yes, we want to close them all, but then why not go in and work with what we have? I mean, we went in, we closed those other two positions not too long ago. Okay, but then we're opening them again. I mean, to me, that doesn't make any sense. We're trying to cut down, okay, but then we're opening back some other positions, something that, you know, we had moved on already. But you're not guaranteeing us that these two individuals that had those positions are going to go into that place. Why are we doing this? I mean, why are we closing positions and then bringing them back in? And I mean, to me, it's just contradicting itself. And I really want to understand how that's working. They're closed, okay? Why bring them back? We're trying to work to see how much we can close of these positions, because yes, there was a lot of positions that they were created, okay? But now we need to close them up. They're closed, that's it, leave them alone, okay? Now, if we have to do some changes, yes, let's work on them, but not by going back and opening another position, the same positions. Again, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know if it does to all of you, but if I closed it, it's because at one point we didn't need him. Because if we did,
it wasn't, Ms. Hernandez, I can remember having conversations. The accountability piece, it's a huge animal. And even when that title was changed, I had my questions, and I still feel just because of the background knowledge that I have in education, accountability it's huge, and they need extra support in that department. So,
and again, I understand that if we needed that, but it's been closed for how long? Those positions have been closed for quite some time.
We're saying right now, we just finished saying that we are going to go through program changes where we're going to be reducing our staff, get the 3 items right before opened positions up and very high paying positions. And I understand that we may need those. I understand that, but then that's where it becomes difficult for me to understand that the item right after that is we're taking away these two positions. And to me, like I said, these are critical times and they've been essential. And yes, everybody is an essential worker, but we all know, and we've praised them. We've praised an entire team that has worked through this pandemic. And the reason I'm speaking up right now is because I just said, I don't understand how, and this comes from the superintendent because it says this is a recommendation she's making. I want a clarification on how those two positions were the ones that are chosen to be effective when we have so many we can look at.
And the reason I voted yes on those items before is because I just hope as a district, those people moved are going into those positions. Because
that would only make sense.
I would hate to, right now, people that have worked tirelessly the hours, our cabinet has been there day in, day out, to be affected like this. I don't think it's fair to us and as a district.
Well, and my thing is, they were closed for a long time. So somebody was doing the job already. Okay? And we're trying to cut down, so. just,
And I
mean,
guess,
why-
I guess a lot of that's going to be explained when the program change comes in. I already have a motion and a second. It's already passed. We need to move on, guys, to executive session. So any other further questions you can direct to Dr. Science. So at this time, it is 1:29 under section codes 551071, 551072, and 551074. We're going into executive session. The session, and it is 2:01 p.m. Under letter H, personnel, can I attain a motion?
Mr. President, I'd like to entertain a motion for items 1 through 9 as discussed in executive session.
I have a
Second.
motion. Can I attain a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor indicating by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. And I'll just need a motion and a second for adjournment, guys.
Motion to approve, adjourn.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. At this time, it is 2:02. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, guys. Y'all stay safe.